NCAA tournament, baby! March Madness. Welcome back to the Pregame podcast. We are one short today. Unfortunately, Dullo, Abdul, Koroma needed to take a rain check. Let's just say he had a rough weekend. But joining us live in the house is, yes, the mayor is not calling in, but rather sitting in the studio. Mr. Mayor is here. We got Pearlman, a.k.a. the Archduke, a.k.a. Spencer Pearlman.
Hello.
Guys, it's NCAA tournament. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? It doesn't get any better than this? I cannot think of a better sporting event.
It's a good thing I have 21 sick days because 100% one of them is being used on Thursday. Mark your calendars, 12 noon to midnight, Thursday and Friday. You guys should be stocked up with beer, sitting on your couch.
Or water.
Or protein, for your sake. Actually, folks, we hate to break this to you, but this isn't really this is not an NCAA preview. It's more of an NIT preview. Just kidding. Miami Hurricanes did not get in the NCAA tournament. We could talk all we want. They probably didn't deserve to get in, but you cannot tell me that BYU deserved to get in. I'm sorry. I think BYU was a little premature. I think we all could agree that UCLA was also just not even close to being deserving.
Apparently, they've been playing well recently. I mean, I've been watching. Isaac Hamilton's a good player. It's Jordan Hamilton's cousin. But
remember, though, soft conference.
Yep.
Oregon making a deep run in that tournament does sort of have, it gives them a little bit of a boost. But, I mean, best out of conference win for UCLA was Stanford. Stanford didn't even make the field there. So, can't really say that I'm stoked about UCLA being in, or Ole Miss for that matter. So,
Ole Miss? What have you done lately, Ole Miss? What have you done? I think the committee really screwed this up. Only one team from the state of Florida. That's the North Florida Ospreys. This is coming from a state that produces Miami had recent success. Florida State has some recent success. Only one school from the state of Florida makes it. In terms of local schools, the Johnnies did get in. I think we're all thrilled about that, although no Obekba, according to Tambor. Apparently, what did he do? He's a clown, did something off the court.
Obekba suspended 2 weeks for team rules violations.
Yeah, they're not going to be around.
The Johnnies aren't disclosing any further. Unfortunately, the Johnnies not big without him. They do have great backcourt play, but unfortunately, Obekba being lost, a big absence for them in the tournament.
Obekba is actually most known for his extremely short shorts. He goes throwback to the 80s with those shorts, let me tell you. It's a little strange.
A little bit of Chris Mullin swag there.
Exactly.
Andrew Bynum also 2 years ago. He had his compression shorts going down to his knees and his shorts.
That's right, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Andrew Bynum. Anyway, so...
He's bowling right now. So.
He is. That's true. I mean, so what we're going to do is we're going to break it down by region. We'll announce all the seeds. You've all probably seen the selection show. You already filled out your brackets. We're here to provide our opinions. We could be dead on. We could be dead wrong. Who knows? But this is the risk that we're willing to take here. Guys, I think we can all agree that this was probably one of the toughest brackets I've ever had to fill out.
The selection committee stacked a number of teams against each other, and we'll get into this deeper, but Wisconsin having to play on the same side of the bracket in a possible Final Four rematch. I hated that pick. We'll talk about other picks that we definitely hated too.
Key word, though, is possible Final Four rematch.
I hate how they put Wisconsin and Arizona in the same region. I hate that. Kills me. Was Joey Buckets Lenardi? Was he like pretty spot on? They didn't really go over it. I guess I don't think he had UCLA in.
I don't remember if Joey
I think this is the first 4 out.
But a special announcement to our listeners. We have put in a pool. It's going to be an exciting pool. We're still deciding whether we're going to have surprises or not. Tweet us if you want to get in our pool. Check out the expert picks. Get in. Get psyched up. Tweet us at Pregame with us on Twitter, or follow us on Facebook if you want to get in on this.
And follow us.
Well, give us a follow, damn it. All right, here's the deal. Like I said, we're going to break it down via region, and when we come back, we're going to start with the Midwest. Stay with us.
Yo, put a label on it. With the labels on, pick a color, pick a face, or a flower, or a place. Make a card, make it cool. Labels on your stuff for school. Yo, put a label on it. With the labels on.
You know what they say, label it or lose it with the Casio
Label Zone, you can label all your stuff in all kinds of fun ways. Yo, put a label on it with the Label Zone.
Available adventure from Casio. Cool.
So, the Midwest region. Guys, I guess the easiest way to do this, I'm going to read off the matchups, and then we'll provide our commentary. So, the number 1 seed goes to the number 1 overall, obviously Kentucky. They play the winner of local Manhattan against Hampton, that 16 seed. They play on Wednesday to determine who's going to play Kentucky. Then the 8th-seeded Cincinnati Bearcats take on the Purdue Boilermakers, Boiler Up. Then you have the 5-seed West Virginia takes on Buffalo. Bobby Hurley, the head coach there, going back to the NCAA tournament as a coach. Then we have Maryland Terrapins. Shout out to John Schrock, the video coordinator of Maryland. They take on Valparaiso, the 13 seed. Then we have from the Big East, the Butler Bulldogs, the 6th seed, taking on a surprising bid in the Texas Longhorns, number 11. We'll get into details about that one, but Hook 'em Horns, they get in. Then the ACC champions, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, are the 3 seed, scary team, by the way, take on the Northeastern Huskies from Boston. They're the 14 seed. And then to close it out, you have what we all, I think, could agree on, they got screwed. The 7th seed Wichita State Shockers, not getting a lot of love, getting a 7 seed, taking on Tom Crane's Indiana Hoosiers. They're the 10 seed. And then you got Rock Chalk Jayhawk Kansas takes on New Mexico State. So, gentlemen, I think we can all agree that we all have Kentucky.
Hold on now.
Oh.
No,
Okay, no. All right, you scared me.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree that Kentucky's winning this side of the bracket. Can we all agree on that?
the side of the...
We can agree they're winning the Midwest. Let's just get that out of the way right now. The 2 games I want to talk about most.
Yes.
1, fill this out now. Texas is beating Butler.
I said the same thing.
I agree. That's 3 for 3.
Take it right now. Texas, a team that was tested but passing the eye test all year. They've had some good quality wins, playing better of late. I like them beating Butler. And Kev, you and I saw Butler play live. Not that impressive.
They don't.
Not that
Miles
impressive.
Turner is going to have a field day with that team.
So will Isaiah Taylor.
And so will Taylor.
Yeah.
They're going to have a field day. Butler's like the rec league all-star team.
They average, what, 9.5 blocks a game. And they still have the great point guard. They have an athletic wings like a Damian James from a couple years ago.
Yes, yes.
I like him a lot.
But the other game I want to talk about, and get this right now, Wichita State, Indiana, probably the best matchup of the first round in the Midwest. Indiana, obviously, that terrific backcourt. But Wichita State, an old team, a veteran team, which we know in the tournament makes a lot of sense. Van Fleet, Tyler Cotton, the 2 guys who have been there before and seen how to do it. A couple years ago, came very close to actually beating Louisville before Louisville beat Michigan. And, of course, they could very well, either one of those teams could come out ahead. But looking ahead to the round of 32, Wichita State beating Kansas, getting to the Sweet 16. That's the bold pick out of the Midwest.
I don't disagree with you there. In fact, I happen to agree with you. So I guess if we can, we'll start down. I have obviously Kentucky. I have Purdue over Cincinnati.
Wait, well, do you have Kentucky, then Purdue? All right, I had the same one. Yep.
Then I have West Virginia beating Buffalo.
Our colleague Duck Gottlieb loves Buffalo as the 12-5.
That's a joke. I have Maryland beating Valparaiso.
Mm-hmm.
We just discussed Texas beating Butler. I think it's safe to say Notre Dame moves on to the next round. Wichita State, and then Kansas. So now, I think we all have the same, if I'm not mistaken. So, let's start from the top here. A Kentucky-Purdue matchup, I think it's a no-brainer. I think Kentucky blows them out.
Someone to look out for on Purdue is A.J. Hammonds, because he is humongous. He's like 7'1".
7-footer?
7'1", like 280 pounds, soft touch, but no post moves. Or limited post moves and mediocre touch.
Is he on the Spencer Pearlman NBA prospect radar?
Second round, yeah. Second round pick.
You heard it here, second round pick. Then
late second.
Late second.
Yeah.
He could be Mr. Irrelevant. Who knows? Then we got West Virginia, Maryland. Very, very good game. I'm going to give the edge to the Terps on this one.
I'm taking the Terps here. West Virginia team that does not shoot the 3-ball very well. That's very important in the tournament. Maryland, a better 3-point shooting team. They will win because of that.
All right.
Melo, Trimble, and Des Wells.
Yeah, I mean,
that's why they're
and
going to.
John Schrock, you kidding me? No, I agree. I think that's. I'm glad we can all agree on that one. So far, we're all agreeing. I'm kind of shocked. The next matchup, we would all have Texas, Notre Dame. I mean, Pat Connaughton, Jarian Wright. You kidding me? I think Notre Dame takes care of
What about Jackson, the
Texas.
point guard?
Yes.
He's been terrific.
What they've done. Oh, Spencer's smiling. Oh my God, Spencer, what did you do?
Oh no!
Oh, let's hear it. All right, folks, let's hear it. Spence.
All right, so
Oh, no.
Notre Dame's not a big team.
True. August or whatever it is, he's pretty big. But yes.
All right, he's 6'10". Then their starting power forward is Pat Connaughton.
Yes.
That's
true.
Three.
That's true.
He's 6'5". They have a very small team. Texas is huge, and they have the guard play.
Yes.
They're going to crash the boards. They're going to guess. If they make it, I think they're going to end up getting at least 15 to 20 offensive rebounds, and they're going to convert most of them. I think their defense is going to lock down the paint, so Jarian Grant's going to have to force to take. It's going to everything's going to be perimeter based. August is going to be done for the game. Grant is just I don't know. It's a very bold pick.
I like it though. I like it.
It's bold, but the
They match up well. I'll
counterpoint
give you
here,
that.
if you look at what Notre Dame did against UNC, a team much like Texas in that they're physical on the boards, they had great ball movement and great spacing. Mike Bray runs a 5-on-0 in practice where he gets guys moving the ball in practice.
Their offense is so efficient.
That is
It's
why
unreal.
I like them. They do not play defense, like you said, and they cannot rebound, like you said, but I still like them moving on.
But here's the thing. Here's the one thing where I think could help Spence here. And we saw this in the second half of the Miami game. Connaughton was 4 for 4. He then goes 0 for 5.
Yeah,
Grant's not aggressive. He can be unaggressive. That's even a word. And then who's the other shooter?
Begins with a V, right?
Yeah, Vesturia. Vesturia, again, great shooter, but they do sort of live and die by the 3 at times. So that could help you.
I don't trust Notre Dame.
You don't trust them.
That's really
I would have said the same thing, but then I see them in the ACC tournament beat Miami after almost blowing the game, taking care of Duke. Wow, they took care of business and taking care of a good North Carolina team. I like Notre Dame to beat Texas, but Spence made a very good point. Here's the real interesting one. Taylor, I'm going to let you start off with this. Wichita State, Kansas. Talk to me.
So Cliff Alexander still remains to be seen if he's going to play. Perry Ellis, a limping knee. Outside of that, I don't like Wayne Selden. That's going to be the guy who's going to carry the team. As I said, Wichita State is an experienced team. They are an old veteran team. Have a bunch of guys who are seniors. This is the last run they're going to get. Great coaching, great veteran presence. They beat Kansas.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to have to say I am with Tamara on that one. Perry Ellis looks like he's 40. First off. Overrated. I don't know. Kansas has been... I usually always go with Kansas. That's always my safe pick in the tournament, but I'm going to be bold here. Spence.
I have Kansas.
Kansas?
They've been playing really hot lately.
That's a good... That's not a bad pick
Selden's
at
been
all.
all right, so he hasn't shot the 3 that well. He's 0 for his last 14 or 2 for his last 14 or something terrible. But, I don't know. What's his name? Kelly Oubre has been on the tear. Just an absolute tear. And I like Frank Mason. I think Perry Ellis, you give him a couple days to get some rest. I think he'll end up being fine. They need Cliff Alexander if they want to go past this, but I think they can actually beat Wichita State without him. That said, this was probably the hardest pick I had to make. Even right now, I'm still unsure if Wichita State is going to lose, rather if Kansas is going to win, but...
All right, so here's where we differ. So Tamber and I have Notre Dame, Wichita State.
Mm-hmm.
You have Texas, Kansas. You're keeping it in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Let's go back up the bracket for a second. We all have Kentucky, Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can all agree that Kentucky's going to win that game.
Very true.
So that's Kentucky to the
Elite Eight.
The Elite Eight, correct. And then, so Spence, if your scenario happens, how do you have it playing out?
If Cliff Alexander's back, I think Kansas beats Texas. If he's not back, I think Texas beats Kansas.
Wow!
Because they have the athleticism to match him on the wings, they have the size to absolutely kill him on the boards, and I don't think Perry Ellis is that good. He's like the James McAdoo, who's just same player he's been his entire career. I think Turner and everyone else, McAdoo, I like to call him.
McAboob, McAdoo, same thing.
I've liked Texas the whole year. I've said to one of my friends, James, who hopefully will get in the show soon.
We got to get him in there.
That Texas is a team to be reckoned with when they're at their top.
No, it's true.
And what better time to finally get everything into gear
Than the
than
NCAA
now? The
tournament.
thing is, they just lost to Kansas by 4.
It's true.
And that was with a hobbled Isaiah Taylor.
Remember when they played Kentucky
barely
twice
lost to
earlier in
them.
the year? Yes. All right, so we all have Kentucky winning this region, but you think they'll have to beat one of the Big 12 powers. I have Notre Dame beating Wichita State.
I do too, but would not surprise me here if Wichita State comes out, one, because they can actually compete athletically on the perimeter, plus, again, experience. Both of those teams, very experienced team. Mike Brayo, however, doing a great job over there. Gotta love Mike Bray's coaching staff.
All right, so that's the Midwest region. So our Final Four pick from there is Kentucky. No surprise. Stay with us. We're going to break down the West coming up next.
Be right back.
There I was with Bunny, mixing up some quick, when magically we were in the laboratory of the mad Dr. Foolish, who was turning the world's chocolate to Brussels sprouts. Mwah! We have to stop him,
I'll distract him with some quick.
and I'll unplug his machine.
Chocolatey quick? Ah, chocolatey quick.
My machine!
We sure pulled the plug on this one.
Katie, lights out already?
Almost.
Nestle quick. It's magic in the making.
The Wild West, the West region. We're going to continue on with our analysis here. Let's jump right into it. The 1 seed going to Frank the Tank and the Wisconsin Badgers. They take on Coastal Carolina. Oh, that's going to be a hell of a game. Not. The 8th seed, Quack Oregon Ducks, with a nice end of the year push there for the Quack attack, taking your line, Tambor. They take on the Cowboys of Oklahoma State in a very interesting 8-9 game. Then we go to the 5-12 matchup. The Woo Pig Suey, the Arkansas Razorbacks, the 5 seed, take on Wofford, the 12 seed, the Southern Conference champions. And then a great matchup here, the 4 seed, the University of North Carolina Tar Heels take on Harvard. Harvard beat Yale by 2 in the infamous championship game of the Ivy League, the playoff, which they don't normally have a playoff format, but they both tied for first and they needed to do it. And Harvard advanced to the NCAA tournament. The 6th seed, Xavier Musketeers, who Tambor and I saw recently at the Big East tournament. Again, when you see them in person, you're like, but they had a pretty good Big East tournament, beating Georgetown the next night on Friday in the semifinals, and then losing to Villanova. But the only reason why I have Xavier moving on to the next round, and we'll talk about that in a second, but they're playing the 11 seed, the winner of BYU and Ole Miss. As you can see, I'm not a fan of either. I think they're both not deserving of being in the tournament, BYU in particular. They were great with Jimmer Fredette, but, whatever.
And Brandon Davies.
Who
was
got
kicked off the team for
not following the...
sexual conduct rules.
Yes, for not following the Mormon way.
Nice.
He was tossed. But anyway, so I think Xavier wins just because they're playing 2 teams that I personally don't think deserve to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the 3 seed Baylor Bears. Watch out. They take on Georgia State, the 14th seed. Then you have the VCU Rams, Shaka Smart. The 7 seed VCU Rams take on who we think may be the number 1 overall pick in D'Angelo Russell.
Right, so he's a top 4 pick. Easily.
Could be.
He's in the
He
running.
could
for
be
his
the number 1
yeah,
pick.
Easily.
D'Angelo Russell, the Ohio State Buckeyes, the 10 seed. And then you finish out with Texas Southern, the 15th seed, taking on the almighty Arizona and Tarzuski, the big dog. They're the 2 seed. Guys, what is your most intriguing first-round matchup here? Tambor, start us off.
This bracket is so unappealing to me, actually. But, as much as I love UNC of late, they've been playing terrifically.
Oh my God! You gotta be kidding me!
I didn't pick them. I didn't pick them. You just asked me what my most intriguing matchup was.
Okay.
I took UNC.
You scared me.
But, despite Harvard's lack of size, Harvard does have great backcourt play, and again, largely a team that's done this before. I do not think they will win, But the other interesting matchup is VCU and Ohio State.
Yep.
The key thing here is VCU does play that aggressive trapping defense,
Very
which could
aggressive.
give Ohio State and D'Angelo Russell problems. I took VCU.
Okay, so you had VCU over Ohio State. Spence, anything that stands out to you?
No, same thing. VCU. So I had them losing to Ohio State just because D'Angelo Russell.
D'Angelo Russell, the chief of the D'Angelo Russell fan club, Spencer Pearlman.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Although I do understand that with the press, if you they're athletic on the perimeter. So if you stop D'Angelo Russell, you stop Ohio State because they really don't have anybody else. Shannon Scott's a nice player, but they have no bigs. It's gonna be a close one, but I think Ohio State's gonna pull it out.
I happen to agree with Spencer here. I like D'Angelo a lot. I have them beating VCU. So that would be, but I think that would probably be the best game in the first round of that region. I think we could all agree that Arizona is going to beat Texas Southern. I think we could all agree that Baylor is going to beat Georgia State.
Oh, really quickly though, if R.J. Hunter progressed into this season the way I thought he would have,
He's a beast.
he's
a
shooting
lottery
31.
pick.
No, he's not lottery.
There's some people have him.
All right. All right. Last year he shot almost 40% from three on 8 attempts a game. This year he's down to 30%, so something's got to give.
No,
But
that's true.
If he were shooting 40% from this year, it would not have surprised me if Georgia State ended up winning.
If he goes off, you never know.
And he can. He had 9 points a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Then he followed up with a 9-point game.
I still think Baylor is just a really underrated team. I really like them. Do you guys agree with me that Xavier over the BYU Mississippi game winner?
I do. The one game I want to go back to is Arkansas is going to likely win this game against Wofford, but Arkansas is statistically the worst road team in the SEC. It could possibly carry over where they just completely spit the bit and lose. I do unfortunately think Arkansas is going to win that game.
Ooh, Pig Suey. Spence, I'm assuming you have Arkansas as well, given your SEC.
Bobby Portis.
Bobby Portis, great player.
Pick right there.
Here's my most intriguing matchup, and this is the most difficult for me in this region. Oregon, Oklahoma State. Ducks have been hot lately, but I love Nash and Oklahoma State, so I have Oklahoma State upsetting Oregon.
Don't believe the hypes. The Ducks are in season here. They are in rare form. The Pokes have not performed all year. I haven't been buying the Pokes even when they were ranked. Don't believe the hype.
All right.
Well, really quickly, on the ESPN thing, Oregon doesn't have a guy who's taller than 6'7" or weighs more than 207 pounds. That definitely gives Oklahoma the edge because they can go super small and play LeBron Nash as a small forward. He's 6'7", 230 at center.
It's true.
That's a huge mismatch.
That is a massive mismatch.
So,
I didn't even think of that. I didn't even
have
think of
Oklahoma
that.
That State winning, but
that is interesting.
Yeah,
That's something.
that is
That's something you gotta look out for. That's a good point, Spence. I happen to agree with you there. I never thought of that though. That's a very good point. Let's just start with there. I think we can all agree that Wisconsin will defeat Oklahoma State, assuming that's what happens, or Oregon, who ends up winning. But I think it's safe to say Wisconsin moves on there. Then you have a very good matchup in Arkansas UNC. However, I think JP Tokoto is just too good. I think they beat him.
I think UNC wins handily.
Well, UNC also more physical on the boards to me than Arkansas. That's going to keep them at it.
Like with them, you stop Bobby Portis, you win the game. They have 4 6'10" guys on the team. 3 of whom are probably going to be NBA players.
Page.
No, 6'10" guys.
Oh, you're talking about
Joel
Arkansas.
James,
Joel
Kennedy
James.
Meeks,
Yeah.
And then the really skinny one.
Hicks. Oh no, Justin Jackson.
Yeah. No, the power forward.
Joel James.
The Brendan
Kennedy
Wright guy.
Meeks.
Looks like Brendan Wright.
Hicks. I think it's Isaiah Hicks. I think that's who it is.
He's 7 feet. I thought. I don't know. Whatever. They have the size to stop Bobby Porter, which is really all that matters.
So we all agree UNC Wisconsin in that Sweet 16 matchup, and then I think Baylor beats Xavier. I think we could all agree on that. I think Baylor's too athletic. I think they cause some
Rico
matchup.
Gathers gets every single rebound.
Yeah, there's no way anybody on Xavier's gonna be able to handle Gathers. There's no chance. And I'm gonna go. I feel very comfortable with Arizona beating either Ohio State or VCU.
Yep.
I think that's a fair statement.
Yep.
All right, so that moves us to the Sweet 16 in the West. Going back up to Wisconsin and UNC. This could be probably one of the best games of the tournament. I mean, I love this matchup so much, and I was this close to taking UNC over Wisconsin, but I couldn't do it. I have Wisconsin.
Could be the best game of the tournament. The reason being 2 drastically different styles of basketball. Wisconsin, a team which really focuses on ball movement, has great perimeter shooters. not a great offensive rebounding team, but the big kickers don't foul a lot, don't turn the ball over a lot either. It took them 34 minutes into the game with Purdue to actually have their first turnover in the Big Ten semifinal game. So, on the other hand, UNC so terrifically gifted on the perimeter, such great
So
ball
athletic.
players. And, of course, they rebound very well. I'm still taking Wisconsin in that game, though.
Wisconsin, Spence.
Actually, just changed my pick.
Just changed the pick. You know what? Had UNC been paired with anybody else,
Yeah.
they would have moved. But I think they did an unfair pairing there.
And the thing is, like, you have Sam Decker. Nobody on UNC can guard Sam Decker.
That's not true. Tokido can guard him.
He's got 4 inches. He's got 40 pounds.
Tokido's
on
going to have
him,
to
too.
guard someone else. He'll probably guard Koenig.
That's true.
He'll
That's
probably
true.
guard Koenig.
But I'm just saying, if
It's so weird saying Koenig because of Stephen Koenig.
Yep.
But here's the thing, though. If Tokido needed to guard a guy, Tokido's so quick. He's so long. He's got such great.
He's Andre Iguodala.
Yes, but I'm just saying he could.
Yeah. It would be a really hard matchup just because Decker is so much bigger.
That's true. But if there's a guy in UNC who's going to do it, it's
Yeah,
going to be
could be,
Tokido.
yeah.
It's going to be Tokido.
Yeah.
And don't forget Bryce Johnson. I've been hating on him for a while, but the reality is he's a good
That's
player.
what I was thinking of.
Yes. Oh, okay. That's
Brandon Wright clone, 6'10", 190 pounds.
And then we have what I think is a consensus Baylor-Arizona game. That'll be very good, but I personally think Zona's too deep
Yep.
for Baylor. I think we can all agree on that one. So it comes down to, this is pretty cliche. It's the Sweet 16 is 1, 2, 3, 4.
Has that ever happened? It's definitely happened. How often does that happen?
I don't think that rules in favor of our brackets. I feel like that doesn't happen often, but I think it makes sense in this case. I'm sorry. I think Frank the Tank and Wisconsin is playing too well right now. I have them winning this bracket.
But Spencer and I were talking about this before the show today. The thing about Arizona is they're so big and so physical.
They would match up so well.
Stanley Johnson, great freshman out of the Pac-12. Rhonda Hollis Jefferson, who's obviously such a high flyer, loves
Brandon Ashley, Tarczewski, McConnell's a great point guard. Gabe York, they're a good. Another great game.
So here's the thing about Tarczewski, though, that gives him the problem is the Tank doesn't need to go inside. He can play outside in.
Tarczewski's not going to be able to guard him.
And Tarczewski not going to be able to guard him. Going to be a terrific matchup if it happens. Wisconsin facing off against Kentucky in the Final Four.
Close. I think Wisconsin Arizona is a close game though.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Totally agree with you.
But you have Wisconsin also, Spence.
Barely.
All right. So see, that was tough because
On
Arizona
Wisconsin,
could beat
baby.
them. I wouldn't be surprised if Arizona beats Wisconsin. But on Wisconsin, our West Regional winner, the Badgers from Wisconsin, meaning that they would play Kentucky, as Tambor mentioned, in the Final Four, which would just be an epic matchup. And I've been saying it before, I think Wisconsin is the only chance for anybody to beat Kentucky. It's Wisconsin Badgers. That's the West region. We're coming up with the East. Stay with us.
Check out the cheese in this new ranch dressing. New super cheese ranch dressing. What's it taste like, dude? And there's taco ranch dressing. Remind you of anything?
Arriba!
Fun flavors that will blow your mind from Hidden Valley. And now there's Earth Power glow tags. 5 cool dog tags that really glow in the dark. There's one wrap right on each specially marked bottle of Hidden Valley dressings for kids. Feel the power.
Coming back east, the East Regional, which, in my opinion, has the worst number 1 seed of all of them. They had a great year, the Villanova Wildcats. They have just won the Big East tournament. They are the 1 seed. They then will take on, why is this, okay, sorry, now I can read it. They will take on the Lafayette Leopards. First time they've been in there forever. No Jack Detmer, though, interestingly enough. Go figure, Detmer leaves, they make the tournament.
Coincidence?
Coincidence? I don't know. The 8-9 matchup. The NC State Wolfpack taking on, this is a great game, the LSU Tigers. The 8th seed is NC State, 9 LSU. We go down the bracket. The Northern Iowa, I don't even remember their mascot name. Northern Iowa.
Purple Panthers.
The Purple Panthers, excuse me. The Purple Panthers take on the Cowboys of Wyoming, the 12 seed. Matchup of mid-majors there. And then we have Rick Pitino's Louisville Cardinals, the 4 seed, taking on the 13 seed UC Irvine. Then we close it out with Providence, the Friars of Providence College from Rhode Island, take on the winner of Boise State Dayton. The 3 seed Oklahoma Sooners, Boomer Sooner, taking on the Albany Great Danes, the 14 seed. Then we have the Spartans of Michigan State, who almost beat Wisconsin today in the Big Ten tournament, ended up getting screwed because what's-his-name stepped out of bounds when he tried to save the ball. They take on the Georgia Bulldogs of the SEC, they're a 10 seed. And finally, Dogs of the SEC, they're a 10 seed. And finally...
Getting a hold of a crisp, delicious Eggo waffle is not always easy, but for that golden Eggo goodness, the chance to fix it up just the way you like it, to cut that perfect piece, almost any effort is well worth it.
Eggo waffles, the part of a good breakfast that's too good to let go.
Hey, Lego my Eggo!
Did he say Lego?
Going down to the fourth and final region here, the South region. The Duke Blue Devils will take the 1 seed there. Jaleel Okafor, Tyus Jones, Quinn Cook, Justice Winslow. The big 4 there.
That's about it after those guys.
Yeah, that they have 0
5
depth,
guys.
which is why I think we can all agree that they probably won't be representing this region. We'll talk about that in a little bit, though. They take on the UNF Robert Morris winner. Whoever wins that game has no chance against Duke, so let's move on. The 8th seed San Diego State Aztecs take on the Johnnies, the Red Storm, the 9 seed. Very happy to see St. John's representing New York in the NCAA tournament. Looks like Steve Lavin is no longer on the hot seat there. We've been talking this team up all year. Spencer brought him up way back a couple months ago. The Utah Utes, the 5 seed, taking on Stephen F. Austin, the 12 seed. Stephen F. Austin in the past has done well in the tournament. So be interesting to see if they can continue that. But my bias goes towards Utah. We'll talk about that in a second. Also, the Hoyas of Georgetown and Smith Rivera, who, as Tambor and I saw the other night, can just light it up whenever. They take on Eastern Washington. They're the 13th seed. Larry Brown's SMU Mustangs taking the American Conference ship today. They're the 6th seed. They take on probably the least deserving team in this whole tournament in the UCLA Bruins. I think they just don't deserve to be there. The Iowa State Cyclones will represent the 3 seed taking on the UAB Blazers, the 14th seed. And then to close it out, the Iowa Hawkeyes, the 7 seed, take on Bob McKillop's Davidson Wildcats. No,
They are the Wildcats, yes.
Are they Wildcats?
Yes, they are.
It looks like a cat.
Davidson Steph Curry's.
Yes, exactly. Chef Curry's. They're the 10 seed. And then, of course, the Zags, Mark Few's Gonzaga Bulldogs, take on the 15 seed North Dakota State. So, guys, this is a very interesting bracket. Let's go back up top here. We can all agree that Duke's going to beat the 16 seed.
Yes.
An interesting matchup between San Diego State and St. John's. I, for one, think the Johnnies will advance.
You know, I've been beating on the St. John's Red Storm drum all year. Not having Obekba rather, is a big deal for them. But they have a guy in Sir Dominic Pointer who can take over games when he needs to. The big issue for them is, are they going to get production out of Rishi Jordan and Phil Green? 2 guys who were and D'Angelo. I mean, those 3 guys were very impactful early on in the season for St. John's. They've struggled towards the back end. St. John's, unfortunately, a team that does not have a lot of depth. I'm still taking them to beat San Diego State, but next round, unfortunately, when they run into Duke, they will probably have a hard time.
Probably lose again to the Duke Blue Devils. We'll talk about that in a second. Spence, do you agree with St. John's?
I agree. Reluctantly, maybe slightly.
It's gonna be a good game. I think.
I mean, just reading what they're saying on ESPN, they lost to Utah by 4, who I love. They beat Utah by 4,
right,
who I love. They lost Arizona by 2. Lost to Cincinnati, but I don't know. I mean, they're a defensive first team, and I think that
coached.
Right, but you need scoring.
Right.
ESPN also notes that 9 seeds are 61 and 59 against A seeds in the last couple of years. So an even toss-up, essentially, if you're looking to take that pick at home.
You gotta love those old. You gotta love that old statistical stuff. Like it matters. I mean, not a lot. You can't write too much on it, but it's interesting to follow at least.
And for anybody looking to take the 16 over the 1 seed, that has never happened.
That will never happen.
Just in case you were thinking about it,
I've been Manhattan over Kentucky. What are you talking about? Actually, fun fact: the head coach of Manhattan was a student manager for under Calipari, I believe, at one point. I don't think he obviously was at Kentucky. It might have been when he was at UMass, but interesting, nevertheless. I think we would all agree that Utah is going to beat Stephen F. Austin. I think we can all consensually agree there.
Yep.
Utah will do it, but Stephen F. Austin did do this last year. They did go and beat VCU as a 12-5 seed, and they are a terrific offensive rebounding team. Also a team that's 29-4, so only lost 4 times all year. So they do know how to win. I have to take Utah on this one, but if we get that 1-12-5, which we usually do, this could be the team that does it.
Interesting. Pretty interesting. Georgetown Hoyas taking on Eastern Washington. What's his name on CBS is convinced that Eastern Washington's going to win. I still think Georgetown takes care of business there, but apparently Eastern Washington is a little bit more dangerous than we thought. Do we all have Georgetown advancing?
Yes.
I know nothing about either team, so I'm just going with a higher seed.
Makes sense. I mean, SMU over UCLA, like, come on. Oh my gosh, no you didn't.
Stop it, UCLA doesn't even deserve to be there.
No, Spencer Pearlman has gone with UCLA. I mean, you know what? You said earlier they've been playing a lot better. They played a much tougher conference than America.
Spencer, why?
It's probably, it's not a bad pick. It's a contrarian pick. I like contrarian picks. You know that.
Because UCLA has a huge front court, and they have the shooting on the perimeter. Isaac Hamilton shooting 40% from 3. They have a 6'9", 300-pound load in Tony Parker. They have a 6'9", 245 guy who's going to be in the lottery, and Kevin Looney. They have the pieces, so I don't know. I think they're going to win.
All right, interesting.
Plus, I also kind of figured no one else would be picking it, or few people would be picking it, so why not?
That could help you. That could help you big time.
That could.
Next matchup, I think everybody thinks Iowa State is going to beat UAB. I think that's a safe assumption.
The comeback kids.
And then I have an interesting upset here. I think Davidson beats Iowa.
Yep.
I'm with you.
All right, so we all agree on that one. Nice. Okay. And then I think we'd all agree that Gonzaga is going to beat North Dakota State.
For those of you who are YouTube sensation, the kid president calls him Gonzago.
Gonzaga will advance over North Dakota State. All right, fellas, let's pop it back up top here. Duke St. John's. They met earlier this year at Madison Square Garden. Also happened to be Coach K's 1,000th win, but it was not an easy win. St. John's actually had control a decent amount of that game, as you remember.
Had a 12-point lead with about 7 minutes left.
And then Tyus Jones took over.
And then Tyus Jones is like, excuse me, I'm one of the best guards in the country. Get out of my way. I would have thought of taking St. John's over Duke had O'Beck been playing. But when it comes down to it, I think Duke, the starting 5 at Duke is still better than St. John's. I have Duke beating St. John's. I think we can all agree on that one.
Yeah, although do remember in that game that it was not Jaleel Okafor who actually took over that game. Looked very soft in that game.
Yes, because I think O'Beck did a good job of it.
And Sir Dominic Pointer was also excellent.
Yes, Dominic Pointer was good in that game. So again, St. John's will definitely play in tough, I think, but I think Duke wins that game. I don't like why is this happening in my bracket? Oh, there you go. Okay, Georgetown, Utah. Now, having seen Georgetown play and having watched Utah play a lot on TV, I like the Utes to beat Georgetown.
Yep, that's an easy pick for me.
Go Utes.
Yeah.
All right, we're agreeing here. Just so everyone's aware, I'm kind of surprised. We're agreeing on a lot. I'm kind of surprised about this. We did not announce. This is the first time we're hearing each other's picks. By the way, this was not a collaborated pregame podcast. Bracket. Just so happens we agree. Which, as you know, if I'm listening to the show, isn't always the case. SMU, Iowa State. I think Iowa State, having just won the Big 12, I think that's a safe assumption that they will beat SMU. Do you guys agree with me?
Say it again.
Iowa State over SMU?
Yep.
Cyclones are hot. I'm taking them.
Fred Hoiberg. And George Niang?
Yes.
Yeah, he's very good.
And then I think we can all agree that the Zago will beat Davidson.
Gonzaga going in the Sweet 16.
All right, so here's the Kevin Towle bold pick of this is where it gets sexy.
Oh, you didn't do it, did you?
He did the same thing I did.
Oh, he did.
Utah over Duke.
Let's go.
Boom. Let's go, Spence.
Jacob Puelto is going to cause problems, and their backup 7-footer.
Yes.
Over supposed to be the starter.
Yes.
So.
Yep. And DeLon Wright is going to cause
Nobody on Duke. Nobody on Duke can guard DeLon.
So I have Duke, And you know I hate Duke. You know I hate Duke. And I'm not doing this to be a conformist. I don't know how I can pick Duke at this point because I hate Duke. They don't play with any depth. Jahlil Okafor isn't aggressive. His defense is not very good. Tyus Jones demonstrated that he was inconsistent and he still is a young guy. And to me, without having Rashid Suleiman, as much as he was a bum, and Quinn Cook, who's demonstrated he's a bum in the tournament when it counts, I have a hard time justifying my own pick to pick Duke. I have to reverse. I have to pick Utah at this point because...
Oh, it reversed!
I have to reverse.
He reversed. We convinced him on the spot.
I have to reverse.
Wow.
Duke, you guys are bums. Coach K, you're a great coach, but you guys are bums.
Wow. We reversed this pick.
You're welcome.
Utah is there. But Gonzaga is going down to my boys, the comeback kids at Iowa State.
You think Gonzaga beats Iowa State? Spence, who do you have?
Yeah, I think
No, Iowa State wins.
No,
I'm sorry.
I have the Cyclones are revving on. The Cyclones are revving on.
So this was probably another really tough one for me, but I'm going to have to side with Tambor on this one. I have Iowa State over Gonzaga, and I'll tell you why. Gonzaga has been playing just way too close of a game lately between... Well, they lost to BYU. That's why BYU, I think, is in the tournament. They weren't dominating like I wanted them to in their own conference. They had a great non-conference, but they weren't dominating as much as I would have liked them to. But that's that. So let's just assume we all have Utah. I have Utah going to the Final Four.
The Cyclones spinning on the comeback kids, baby. Iowa State is going to the Final Four out of the South.
Nope, I have Gonzaga.
Oh, three different picks. Okay, I have Utah. I'm probably the biggest moron out of everybody. I love Utah.
But we still like you.
Thank you.
Accept it.
So Kevin has Utah. Josh has Iowa State. Spencer has Gonzaga. I'm going to regret this Utah to the Final Four pick, I think. But
good thing your bracket isn't locked yet.
Yeah. No, I'm not changing that. I have Utah in the Final Four.
That's fair.
You heard it here first. I'll probably be wrong. But we're going to break down the Final Four. Coming up next.
Come on, let's go. I need breakfast. And don't shut the... My Kellogg's Corn Pops. My keys. They're locked in. Stay calm. Smooth move.
Maybe we could call for help.
Yeah, sure. Help! I want my Corn Pops. Oh, like sweet popcorn, I could be having them now. But thanks to the little dweeb bet, I'm locked out. My pops are locked in, and what am I gonna do? I was gonna do that.
Kellogg's Corn Pops cereal is part of this complete breakfast.
I gotta have my pops.
So we are now broken it down to the Final Four. We agree on all but one. So in the South region, I have Utah. Again, that's my very bold pick. Spence has Gonzaga, and Tambor has Iowa State, but we all agree everywhere else. The East regional, we have Virginia, the Midwest, Kentucky, and the West, Wisconsin. Let's start on the left side. Probably the dream matchup in Kentucky, Wisconsin. Again, as much as I love Frank the Tank, as much as I think Wisconsin is the best matchup for Kentucky, I just don't see Kentucky losing. I have Kentucky.
Kentucky is going to do what UNLV could not do way back, which is actually go undefeated and win a championship. They are too athletic, they're too dominant, and I don't know that for as good as Wisconsin is, that they're going to be able to guard some of that athleticism and length. Kentucky is going to the championship game.
Spence. Do you agree?
I think Kentucky's going to end up winning the whole thing, too. And I love Frank the Tank. I love everything that they put around him. But, Kentucky has, 4 power forward starters that are going to be in the first 35 picks in the NBA draft. They can just throw whoever they want at Kaminsky, and they'll do a damn good job guarding him. Trey Lyles, they could go small. He guards him on the perimeter and on the post.
Actually, the guy I really like for Kentucky, who we have not talked about much as a result of the platoon system this year, is Kari Johnson, who has been early.
No, thanks. I'm gonna chill.
Dude, wanna hear some rock and roll tonight?
Nah, I'm just gonna hang.
Hey, man, wanna do some skateboarding at the mall?
Nah, I'm not into it.
You thought smoking pot would take you places you'd never been. So how come you're going nowhere?
So our personality segment almost forgot about it. That's my bad. Can't end the show without the personality segment. Tambor is going to lead us off. For the first time, he won't be John Gruden or Mel Kiper. He's Coach Larinaga, who did not get a chance to go dancing. Coach L, what's up?
So I spent a lot of time this week, talking to my guys about how they got to fight, how they got to be up against the ropes, getting into the tournament. And I got to say, we played hard, but I'm pretty thoroughly disappointed considering our resume. We've beaten some tournament teams. We had some tough losses to teams who outplayed us on a given night. But I look at some of the teams that got ahead of us, and I'm scratching my head, especially if I look at my petitioning of the committee. And I'm a pretty likable guy. I'm a pretty even-keeled disposition guy. I'm a little concerned about what that means for us, for this program. Especially considering 2 years ago we were a number 2 seed. We'd won the ACC tournament. I think I'm going to have to go back and probably think long and hard this summer about where I can improve.
You have everyone coming back.
Maybe how I can use some of my, deep rotation of guards a little better. But you know what? If I'm looking at it, I have a good feeling I'll probably make the NIT. And I'm pretty happy with my team. I'm going to compete next year in a deep ACC. I'm telling you right now.
Coach, I couldn't agree with you more. I will be Pat Connaughton of Notre Dame. We've talked about this before in the show, but I think it's pretty remarkable that I'm going to play professional baseball for the Baltimore Orioles, but I decided that I still wanted to play college basketball, potentially risk my career, right? I mean, obviously you can get hurt at any time, and that decision has 100% paid off. I'm a second-team All-ACC player. I just won the ACC tournament, the first tournament, the conference tournament that my school's ever won. For a long time, we were an independent school. We joined the Big East, and now the ACC. It's the first time we've ever won our conference. I have an NBA guy, one of my best friends, Grant, with me, and we're going to make some noise. Unfortunately, we're in a really tough bracket with Kentucky, and who knows what we can do against them, but I can tell you one thing. We have a high-powered offense. We have one of the best coaches in America, Mike Bray, and we're a confident bunch. Yeah, I was a little slow against Miami in the second half, but I'm one of the best shooters out there. Am I an undersized power forward? Yes. But I have heart. I'm telling you, watch out. Fighting Irish are coming for you. Spence, close it off for us.
I'm going to be John Calipari. Pat, I can already tell you what's going to happen. You are going to lose by a lot.
It's possible.
No, it will happen.
It's going to happen. You're
right. Yeah. This is the best basketball team anyone has ever put together. I think this just speaks to my ability as a recruiter. I'm able to really reach to the players and tell them, like, if you want to go to the NBA, if you want to be a part of a winning program, you go to Kentucky. Like, my track record speaks for itself. Every player that I've had, either at Kentucky or Memphis, who was, if he was a good player, he obviously got a huge contract, like John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins. If you're a good player, I make you better. Patrick Patterson comes to me, he's a high recruit, but people they're not that sure about him in the NBA because is he a small power forward? Like, what is he? Goes to the NBA, finds a niche as a stretch three-pointer. Eric Bledsoe, undersized shooting guard, or potential all-star point guard. Potential all-star point guard. So to every recruit out there, come to Kentucky.
And you'll probably get paid too.
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe just a little. You'll get a car. You'll get
or two.
Your AAU coach will be added to the staff, probably.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
And we give benefits for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not only you. We help your family and your friends and your fourth and fifth and sixth cousins.
Don't worry, someone's going to be giving you cash payments every week.
Yeah.
But no, for real, guys, great show today. You have time to fill out your brackets, but don't wait till the last minute. First games are Thursday at noon.
I will leave you with this. There are 9.2 quintillion, that's with a Q, 9.2 quintillion different ways to fill out your brackets. Get creative, do it in some color-coded method. You know, do some blindfolded, do some not blindfolded. Knock yourselves silly.
Just do me a favor and do not pick Duke winning at all. That's all I'm going to say. Guys, we'll be back next week. Hopefully Dullo will be with us. What chance he's still hungover, you think?
I don't think he's himself yet.
Give it 65% odds.
Yeah.
Of course, before we end, we have to give a shout out to our producer, Joshua Alon Baumoehl. He goes by Dudley as his pen name. So obviously, great work, Dudley. Congratulations on putting together an epic show. Great work.
He's also
and for providing entertainment.
Yes.
As always.
Yes. He's quite the it's quite a smooth talker. Let me tell you. Watch out, ladies. All right. Anyway, we'll be back next week. We'll be talking obviously the results of the first round games, but we'll be talking NFL. We'll also be talking NBA. We'll see you next week. Take care.